Hi, today I'm going to talk to you about starting your own cheap emergency kit and on how to do it at minimal expense. I've already talked about a couple of my kits here. Here I have some kits. I do have knives. I did put a machete on the one, on the front end. Now, these are not airtight, so it won't matter if it puts some holes in it. You can always put a machete on it if you want something for protection. I do have this other blade I've talked about. Let's start in this one. I of course have coffee. I have silverware, tape, honey, a knife, can opener, toilet paper, couple vegetables, some canned milk, some Chef Boyardee stuff, and some beef stew. Now we're going to go to this one. I have coffee, macaroni and cheese, soup, Chef Boyardee, chili, some cheese sauce, lots of vegetables in this one. Now the reason I did this is, in an emergency situation, you have to have liquid, so it's a must. Now also in this one I have a little box here, and I have this for a reason. Now this is a little strainer. Now the reason I have this in here is because I have regular coffee. None of my coffee in here is instant coffee. It is regular coffee, except for this. That's instant. And I have a little thing instant here. But I wanted to keep regular coffee because honestly most instant just is really bad. So I do have regular coffee in here. I can actually make this in a pan, a regular pan, saucepan. I can make it in a percolator, which we do own. If you don't own a percolator, just use a regular pan, and then you strain your coffee through the strainer and it gets out the grounds. Now we also have an Augustin 48-hour emergency food supply. Now this says a 4-person kit for 48 hours. It says 5 meal varieties. Excuse me. We pay like $20 for it at Walmart. That is more long-term storage. That is like a 30-year shelf life, 25-30 years. One thing people don't understand when they buy these kits, most of them you do not just add water to. Most of these kits you actually have to cook. So don't expect you to open this up and have pancakes in there, or cooked macaroni and cheese, or rice. You actually have to cook this stuff. You have to add water to it and cook it. So when you put back an emergency food kit, unless you get emergency MREs that have the pouches that you can heat the food in, pretty much everything you buy like this you will have to cook. Now I'm going to tell you how you can start an emergency food kit if you're on an extreme budget. Okay, each one of these totes I have here was less than $5 at Walmart. So my advice is get a tote, start with one single can. Every time you get paid, every time you get a little bit of money extra, put a can in. You don't have to buy big things at Chef Boyardee, like I have one here, or even beef stew. That is expensive food. I have honey, and that is really expensive. But some of these things like the fruits, vegetables, things like that are not that expensive. If you're going to get fruit with a decent shelf life, something you can drink the liquid out of. We also have different varieties of soup. There's cream and potato. There's some chicken, broccoli, and cheese with potato, and sirloin burger. You do not have to get this type of soup. You can get the cheapest soup that you can find. You can even put SpaghettiOs in here if you want. Unfortunately, I do hear my camcorder grinding a little bit, so I'm not sure how that's going to act up on the volume. But I'm going to tell you the easiest way to start with your emergency kit. You don't have to run out and buy a bunch of stuff immediately. I'm going to tell you how we did it. Now, each one of these foods has a 2 to 3 year shelf life here. So anytime we take something out, as you can tell if you watch my other videos on this, I have been eating some of the stuff out of here and we've rotated it and put new stuff in. Anytime you eat something out of it, put another can in. It doesn't have to be the same thing. It doesn't matter if it's peas, green beans, corn. But I'd advise not a lot of corn because corn is nothing but roughage. Once again, that costed $20 for that at Walmart. And it has buttermilk pancakes, maple brown sugar oatmeal, creamy chicken flavored rice, macaroni and cheese, and creamy potato soup. And like I said, you have to add water. It says shelf life up to 30 years. I don't know if you can see that because I'm not looking at my laptop. I'm going to tell you how we got all of this. Everything in here. It took us a while, and yes, we do eat stuff out of here and then we replace it with something else. Everything in here, from the machete to this blade to the hand warmers, the coffee. The only thing we actually had in a shelf put back was that Safeway coffee there. That's instant. The Safeway here closed down. They sold out. And we did buy another can, a little bottle instant to put in here. But the only thing we had in here that I did not buy extra was the coffee. Now, we did buy silverware. This was a small pack of cheap forks, and we got a couple spoons from like our Salvation Army, not Salvation Army, but oh, I can't think of the name of that place. Goodwill. We bought a couple spoons from Goodwill in our area. You know, so first thing we started with was a tote. Like I said, these are under $5. You do not have to get 2 totes. You do not have to put toilet paper in your totes. If that's not something you want. If you figure you're never going to leave your house, ever, then you probably have toilet paper in your bathroom. You probably have some food put back. You know, we have some stuff over there. But here is exactly how we started with all this. 99% of this is how we bought this. Every time, well, there's Midnight over there, wanting to get into, well, hold on, Midnight. It looks like he wants out. Let me see if I can actually, let me set this down and let him out real quick. Sorry about this. Alright, go on. Go. Oh, I'm sorry about that. That's Midnight for you. Anyway, this is how we bought 99.9% of this. Now, there is one thing I'm carrying in here that I normally would not put in an emergency kit for any reason, and that is regular boxes of macaroni and cheese. And there's a reason for that. We may have milk, and we have canned milk. I have yet to purchase powdered milk for this one kit specific because it's really expensive right now, and we're saving up for that. But unless you add milk and butter, just macaroni and cheese made with water is some of the most disgusting stuff out there. I mean, it is nasty. So And they just fit right there. That's one of the reasons I put them in here, because they fit nicely. But here's how we started, and here's how we continue building up our emergency kits. You see, I have this bottle here. It's one of my girlfriend's old creamer bottles. Every time we go to the store, every time we go out, every time we pay a bill, we have change. Now, this was empty not that long ago. The last time my girlfriend took that to the bank, we got like $35 out of change. Every single time we go somewhere, break a dollar, get 2 pennies, we put it in this little container here. When it gets about halfway full or so, or fuller, we take it to the bank, cash it in, and we buy stuff for our emergency kits. That's how we bought 99% of this, including the totes. That's how we bought our emergency kit here, the food, was with change out of this little change jar. Now, like I said, she just took it not that long ago, so we don't have a lot in here. She took it like a week ago maybe, and we probably already have, I don't know, $2.50 in there with all the quarters, dimes, nickels, pennies. If you're a person on a severe budget, every penny counts, every nickel counts, everything you do, you know, you have to add up. We are on a severe budget. And this is what we've accomplished. This is short-term food here. It lasts a couple years. This is short-term food here. It'll last a couple years. Except for the coffee, it'll last like forever if it's not opened or punctured. So, everything we bought using saved up change. That was $20. We purchased that using saved up change. We did not dig into, you know, dollar bills. We did not dig into money out of another bill. We just put change back every time we got it. And look at what we have accomplished in a fairly short amount of time. So, if you're on a budget, or even if you're not on a budget, put your change back. Think about getting you, the tote was $5. Alright, that's $5 in change. It may take you a couple weeks to save $5 in change, if not more. It may take you a month. You know, depends on how many bills you have, what you pay, how much change you get back. Every time we go to the grocery store, we get change, we throw it in there. Get you a tote. First thing, get you a tote, or have somewhere to put your food until you get something to put it in. The machete costed $7 from Ace Hardware. We bought it with change. This is the most expensive thing right here. That Fisker's blade, it was like 14-15 bucks. The sharpener was like 10. And all this was bought with change. So, if you're wanting an emergency kit, hopefully you don't need one, but if you want one, put your change back. In fact, there's some other things we have bought with change that aren't here, and they're right over there. Those are 3 6-gallon water jugs. They were bought with change that we put back. So, for an easy way to start an emergency kit, start small. Start with a tote. Put it in a box if you have to. A regular cardboard box. Just start. Start with something simple, easy. Peas and carrots. Put a can in a box. Green beans. Peas. Some green beans here. carrots, sweet peas, some Chef Boyardee stuff, some chili. Got 2 cans of chili in here, some soup. Start with a small box and start adding on to it. And then get you a tote, put your change back, get you a tote or something to put it in, because a cardboard box is eventually going to fall apart. These slide under the beds. If you don't want to try to make real coffee, get a little can of instant coffee, get some tea, get something to put in here that you can drink. Because in a situation where your water, if you have to use bleach for water to purify it, it's going to have that slight bleach taste. You need something to cover that up. I actually did have a thing of Kool-Aid in here, the sugar-free Kool-Aid in the big round container. You can get those in small pouches. Get the Kool-Aid that does not take the sugar, that already has sugar in it. It's already mixed. You know, start small. We've accomplished this in a short amount of time. That includes the $20 emergency food kit that'll last for up to 30 years. Now when they say up to, that means up to. That doesn't mean it'll last 30 years. It means it could last 10 years. It could last 15 years, 25 years. You never know how long that'll actually last until you open it. The seal is not broke. I will not break that seal unless it gets to be a real emergency, where all of our other food is pretty much gone. But what I will do, if I have to open that, I will actually save vegetables to go with some of that. I mean, you don't want to get burned out on eating the same thing every day. That's a cheap little kit. Like I say, it's like 20 bucks at Walmart. That's a good kit to start with. Now, I don't think there's syrup in there, even though there's syrup on the pancakes. We do have syrup. So, and we also have honey. So even if there's nothing to put on the pancakes, we actually have something here. We have honey. This is the best way to start your emergency kit. Start you a small change jar. Constantly put your change in there. We did take our change jar to the bank a few months ago. I believe it was like 3-4 months ago. We got over $70 out of this change jar. Now we're just throwing change in. Just whenever we got change, throw change in. That's the simplest and easiest way to start an emergency kit. Don't just run out and buy a bunch of stuff. If you're on a budget, as it is now, and you have bills you can barely cover, put 1 can back. You know, bite the bullet, buy 1 extra can of food when you go shopping. Just 1. Make sure you don't touch that. Buy green beans. Put it in a box. Put it away. That's not going to break the bank. And every time you go shopping, put another can back. Say the next time you buy a can of chili. And if you shop once a week, just once a week, within a month, you'll have 4 cans put back. Some of these things are like 56 cents, 70 cents, whatever. Start small. You know, if you have a butter substitute and powdered milk or canned milk, buy a can of canned milk. Put it back. Now, unfortunately, with canned milk, it can turn, even in the can. So, you know, and you have to shake it well, of course. But, buy a can of canned milk. Put it back. Okay? Start small. And there is a reason we bought this. Now, even though there is macaroni and cheese in our big emergency food kit, right there, 2 boxes of macaroni and cheese. I would not use the powder. I would cook the macaroni for both boxes if there's enough people. And I'm sure if you're working outside or You know, if you have 3 or 4 people to feed, you're not going to make this with this mix in here unless you have milk and butter. But there you go. It may have a different taste to it, but it'll still be macaroni and cheese. And that can would probably do 3 boxes, not just 2. So, I mean, and if you have any left, you can spread it on crackers or, you know, whatever. Midnight, he loves this cheese sauce. I can put it on a spoon and he'll sit down and lick it for an hour. I mean, literally, he just eats this stuff. Probably not good for him, probably not good for us, but, I mean, he loves it. So, yes, you can put macaroni and cheese back, but if you're going to do that, just buy a can of this. Buy some cheap elbow macaroni noodles in a bag, seal it up, and throw it in your kit. You know, but that's up to you. If you buy coffee, you have a choice. You can buy instant coffee, and you can see we have 2 jars in here, 1 little jar and the big jar. Or you can buy regular coffee and get some type of strainer. And the strainer was like $1. I think I got it on eBay with free shipping or something like that. Walmart has strainers. Make your coffee in a regular pan. Dump it through the strainer to catch the coffee grounds. And you have coffee. So you don't have to buy instant coffee. You don't have to have a percolator like we have up there. You can use a regular pan. Anyway, this video is getting extremely long, but this is the cheapest, easiest, and best way to start an emergency kit on a budget. That is to have a change jar. In fact, there's enough right in there right now. There's probably $2.50. I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, just 7 quarters just right there at the top, from what I can see, plus the nickels, dimes, and pennies. So like I said, there's probably $2.50 in there. That $2 is 3 cans of sweet peas, a couple cans of green beans, and it's even if it's $2, that's, you know, I'd say there's at least $2.50 in there. So at least $2.50. That's halfway to your tote cost. You know, so use your best judgment when you're starting an emergency kit for you and your family. Make sure it's stuff you will eat. And like I said, if you use macaroni and cheese, whatever you do, get some kind of cheese sauce, because there's nothing more disgusting than macaroni and cheese without milk and butter. I mean, I have had it. I had it as a kid. I grew up poor, so, you know, I do think about these things. Anyway, this video is probably pretty long, and once again, this is the best way to start your own emergency kit. Put change back. Start small. Get 1 can a week. 1 can of something, anything. In an emergency situation, chili's great, but you need stuff to drink with it. You will have to have vegetables, and each one of these cans of vegetables has fluid in it you can drink. Canned fruit has fluid in it you can drink. Now, Chef Boyardee stuff is great, but unfortunately, you still have to have something to drink. So, whatever you get is up to you. But eventually, you know, once you get something like this, these are short term. And I do have a machete, I have a knife, all kinds of stuff. I do have some fish hooks, which is really stupid because I'm allergic to fish. But my girlfriend can eat fish. And I have some fish hooks in a little container. that I'm going to end up putting in here with some other stuff. But just start small. This is a poor man's emergency kit. We are as poor as you can get, literally. I mean, please. This is our whole apartment. So, I mean, you definitely can't say we have money. Start saving your change. Use your change to start your emergency kit. That way, you're not really out any bill money. You're not out any money. You know, even if it takes you 2 weeks to save up 50 cents. 50 cents, right there. There's your first start. You know, you can find stuff at the store for 50 cents or just over. You don't have to buy chili. You don't have to buy $3 cans of soup or however much these things cost. The chunkies. The regular soups are cheaper. You know, start small. Buy a can of peas, green beans, whatever. Just start. Now remember, these are short-term emergency kits. The food in here has to be used within 2 to 3 years. So every time we take something out, we generally put something in. We rotate. So when we go shopping and we buy canned goods, I'll grab something out of one of these kits and I'll replace it with what we bought at the store. That way our kit is always fresh, always had good stuff in it. Anyway, I really apologize this video long, and like I said, you don't have to start expensive. You really don't. In fact, there's probably, I don't know, I'd say with the, if I don't count this, and the machete, $30 worth of food here maybe, and other stuff. Now the machete alone was $7. The sharpener, I believe I found it for $10 on eBay, and this is like $15 at Walmart, and I've shown you this before. The honey was the next most expensive thing after those, and I believe it was around $7. Everything else is nominal. Everything else is pretty reasonable. Even the instant coffee and even the regular coffee was reasonable priced. You know, like I said, throw some Kool-Aid in there, throw some tea in there, something you'll drink. The canned milk wasn't too much. I am trying to get another thing of powdered milk. I do have another small emergency kit that I actually ended up pushing under my bed, literally, and I can't reach it right now. That's why I only have these two out. But that one is really tiny. It is basic emergencies, mostly medical supplies, some alcohol, Everclear, emergency medical kit, you know, things like that. And that's where the fish hooks are, and, you know, basic little petty emergency stuff. But anyway, I apologize for the length, but this is how you start your emergency kit without breaking the bank. Start you a change jar, let it get full to a certain amount. Do not touch that money for any reason, and every time you go to the store, grab 50 cents out of it, grab $1 out of it, and then get you a can or 2 cans of something and put them back. That way it's not money coming out of your pocket. Alright, anyway, I apologize for the length. Hopefully the sound's okay. Hopefully you can hear me alright. There's kind of an echo in here today. It's been raining a lot, and then for some reason it makes it echo in our apartment. But that's it. And once again, once you save enough, you can actually get something like that that stays good up to 30 years. It has up to a 30-year shelf life if kept cool, dry, and out of the sun. So, alright, that's it for this video. I have to set this down and turn everything off. And Everyone have a good one.